unrelated to this reaction, I'm a huge Magnus Archives fan. If you have never listened to the podcast, it's a horror podcast. It's extremely good. There's a sequel coming soon called The Magnus Protocol. It comes out in October, which it might even be out by the time I have this episode uploaded. But you should check it out. There's an alternate reality game going on right now in association with it. I haven't played an ARG since I Love Bees for Halo, which was like, I don't want to say life changing, but it was definitely one of the cooler experiences of my life that I've done online. So I just wanted to say something about it, kind of just an acknowledgement of that it's going on right now. Anyways, this is episode 7, Questionable Actions.
It's a promise then, big brother.
I noticed it on 9S before, but like everyone has pretty good lips in this show. They've made him kind of plump.
Your hair, 2B. It would really suit your
I love how okay. I love how the operators low-key crush on the field androids. It's not just 2B's operator. A couple of the other operators talk about their field agents, for lack of a better term. And there's a couple of androids on the bunker itself that are in relationships, which is odd because 2B says a couple of times that emotions are prohibited, yet they have like interpersonal like romance.
It's regarding the anomaly that we reported.
Oh, sorry, but something like that is out of my jurisdiction, so I'm afraid I can't help. But wasn't that flower? Bye now. Operator 60 out.
No, wait!
She's so cheerful.
Didn't dodging my question about the anomaly, wasn't she?
Missions do not require hair accessories or excessive scrutinizing.
Maybe 60 was
She
right
tied
about
that in.
the hairpin thing. I'd like to...
He just gets annoyed into it.
We androids are nothing like you machine life forms. We can't mess around with our bodies much, nor do we want to.
That's one of the things that always struck me, even early on in the game as well, is how they draw this sharp distinction between androids and machines, especially around like emotions and like how they interact. But androids aren't that different from machine life forms to begin with. You know, it's weird that they consider themselves so different when they're both artificial beings.
Useful though, you can
I know they're programmed that way, but and they moved the shopping mall just so that they would have the excuse to have this conversation with Pascal here.
It is a person's. I promise I can convince them. Just wait here a moment. My name's Pascal.
You trusted him enough to fly with him here.
Where the king resides.
This is something that always I wondered about as well. So there's this castle, right? But we know the past of Nier. We know that Automata takes place in Japan. This type of castle doesn't make sense in Japan. So was it built by the replicants during like the time of Nier Replicant or like before? That seems to be the only way that it could exist here. So I guess how much freedom did the replicants have before we saw them in Nier Replicant? You know, they had cities, they had civilization, but a lot of what they were living in seemed to be essentially ruins of our world. So I'm kind of wondering, how much did they build themselves? Like, are there ruins of replicant society on top of ruins of our society in that regard? Sorry for stopping again, but I guess to put it this way, replicants and androids have been running the planet, have been the dominant civilization on the planet by this point in the story for almost as long as humans existed as the dominant civilization on the planet. Like, By this point, replicants and androids have been the dominant civilization, mostly androids, for like 3,000 years. So if you put that in all of human history, I mean, humans, by the point that the dragon came and white chlorination syndrome happened, that all happened in the early 2000s. So human civilization really only existed like 5,000, 6,000 years by that point. It's really weird to consider. I never really thought of the time frames involved that replicants kind of not only supplanted humanity, but then them and androids kind of had time to build a whole civilization after that.
Your guard down.
Right.
And yet...
This is good. They're really talking up A2 here.
Are there any combat records of another?
The more independent machines all have yellow eyes, but sometimes they go red again. And I don't know if that's supposed to simply imply aggression or if it's kind of implying that they've created their own new separate network. That happened quickly.
So you two are getting married. What a pleasant surprise.
I love how they don't really
Two
understand
machine life forms that want to get married?
human relations.
So, what exactly...
Is that?
That's so weird. Like,
This
why'd
is the
they even
Lord
make it?
King.
I like the old generation Yorha weapons better than the new ones. They look just more futuristic.
But why?
9S, let's go.
To me!
Command is the one that betrayed you.
Her voice is so different than during the Pearl Harbor mission. It makes it hurt so much. Like, all the positivity is gone. It's in a completely lower register. Whatever happened on that mission just broke her.
Today, we're going to learn all about the Kingdom of Day and Kingdom of Night.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Kingdom of Night.
But the place where we are now is called the Kingdom. So scary!
That's the OG dragon. The one that fought that big monster and caused white chlorination syndrome. Here's the deal. There's a couple of things about this that none of the side material and none of what we've seen so far actually explains. So at some point before Nier Replicant, so before the aliens were even a thing, some point before Nier Replicant, something happened to the moon, which also caused Earth to not spin anymore, which is why it's constantly daytime where the Nier games take place. And the Kingdom of Night is the other side of the planet, which is North and South America. South America also having been where they took the dragon after it disappeared from the Japanese research facility that had it. Also implied to be maybe where Accord is. I'm unsure on that point. But my point is, whatever, Earth has had it rough. First, you had white chlorination syndrome happen, which is what caused everything else in the Nier series to happen. Then, at some point, after the humans were replaced, something happened to the moon and the Earth's rotation, which has still never been explained at all. It just is something that they made up for Nier, the first Nier game, that is just part of the backstory that's never been explained. But after that, then the Replicant project failed, dooming humanity to extinction. Then aliens invaded. Then machine life forms took over the planet. Like, whew. This planet is cursed. Like, this dimension, this part of the storyline, is cursed. It's like bad ending after bad ending after bad ending. All right, episode 8, Aji wo Kuta, which is the fish, ate the fish ending. We'll see if that's like the joke and the puppet play at the end of the episode. But this is where the plot starts to ratchet up in the game, if I'm remembering right. So let's see where we go here. I'm hoping for like a little more flashbacks here. Some A2 story would be
We
good.
engaged A2, the deserter. Hey,
Too smart for your own good, 9S.
Yorha model, called Attacker Number 2.
Okay. So now
Number 2.
she understands why she thought 2B was A2 at first.
You were alive. Number 2.
It does make you wonder how she got out.
Might know something about her. Maybe.
The sooner you go, the better.
Huh?
Sorry, but it's not a good idea to get too friendly with us.
Their story is so sad.
Yes. Come on, 2B, you should try it too.
9S. There is no
Her boots are
need
much
for us
harder
be
to take
seated.
off than yours.
Please refrain from the unnecessary.
Really interesting that they've used this song when she took her blindfold off. It instantly brings a lot more meaning to the
It's
scene.
hard to move. Yet.
So a little background here on how I got introduced to Nier. It was actually through the Final Fantasy XIV raids. I hadn't played any of the Nier games before that. And it just goes to show that powerful music is powerful even absent of your experiences with that music. Like this song is in the Final Fantasy XIV Nier raids as a battle theme. And even then, with none of the emotional baggage I have attached to the song now, I could sense like, the emotion and the melancholy and the beauty in it. And I think there's a couple of songs in the series that are like that, where the music has kind of transcended the narrative and you can use it to establish the emotion you want, even if the scene is very different. Like this is a somewhat celebratory scene or happy scene, but because they've made this music choice here, you're kind of feeling that undercurrent of melancholy, like it's putting in your brain how ephemeral this moment is, right? I think that's really smart. And I think it just goes to show how powerful like a good composition is when it comes to music, whether that's in games or in anime. It's why a good composer is like basically irreplaceable. Your Umatsus, your Mitsudas, your I forget the name of the composer for Nier, but whoever did, I think it was like a bunch of people. Or even, like who did the music? Shimomura, something like that. Like these people make music that is emotional no matter how it's portrayed to you. I really like that.
2B is thinking
So adorable on you, 2B! Sorry about that.
Oh,
The land
the juxtaposition of like the overly bubbly operator in the grayscale operations center is really
down
funny.
there.
The way it's tugging, this has to be a huge one. Damn it.
Oh, that's the stealth gear, huh?
I know. I'll give you a name in commemoration.
Why are there
Now,
robot
what
fish?
can I name this thing?
Jack,
Furthering advances in science, please take a bite. Though it might kill you. Please, you don't
I love that.
understand. I need this
Though it
data.
might kill you.
Please.
Though it might kill you.
there's something we would like to ask you.
Flower. They say a lunar tear is able to grant wishes.
They said that back in Nier's time too.
Pod.
But that can't be.
And the
This
pod is okay
audio
with
is-
this?
priority is the execution of our plan.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. Does she have these conversations with the Council of Humanity just in case someone actually sees it? That would be interesting.
You are not deterred.
It's me. I don't think they
Well,
realize
she already
exactly
knows it's
who it
9S.
was, but
Ah, interesting. We never actually saw this abduction.
Hot. Find out what's causing the communication.
and why?
And the decor kind of looks like the library from Nier.
I can't feel you.
This is interesting because they've kind of skipped their fight with the two in the alien mothership. Like, are they delaying the reveal about the aliens being dead? Or what's going on here? Things are a little bit different. They're a little bit out of order and or a different way. Which is what I wanted. No, don't eat the fish. Game over. So this is episode 9, Hungry for Knowledge. And before I start, I should mention, this is going to be in Japanese now. I know I'm usually watching dubs on this channel, but it turns out I didn't know this when I started, or else I wouldn't have started yet. They haven't dubbed the last 4 episodes of this yet. I don't know if it's related to the strike or they were just slow with this set. But now that I've started, I'm not willing to wait because that could be months before they release. So I'm just going to do it with subtitles on. I know I'm very much used to the English voices for this, but the Japanese voices aren't bad either. So we'll just have to deal. Sorry if you were looking for a dub reaction. I wanted to react to them too, but that's not the way it's going to be. So now he's trying to reconstruct what happened to him. Ooh, I like how he went from robotic to more human. The 4-letter word. Ooh. Ooh. So it does make you wonder. They send other Yorha units out, obviously. I wonder how much they operate on the other side of the planet. The dark side. This game needed a good elevator fight. Whoa, ooh. That's so creepy. I do love this. Forget the things I said about CG earlier in the show. They've gotten much better at it as the show goes on. I think really only the air units and angles look weird. They're kind of like babes, isn't it? Sodium chloride, huh? Whoa, what? It's grotesque. Oh man. You can't see this room without feeling something if you've played Nier. And once again, they've misplaced it a little bit to kind of hit you with this punch a little earlier. I will say, as soon as I saw this room, I was half expecting 9S to be tied up in front of the door, like where Kaine got petrified. That would have been perfect. Because they've moved this fight to this room for a reason. Ah. So this is how they introduce it. I wonder why they took Adam out of the picture here, or Eve out of the picture here. I love how these aliens look just like the ones from Metal Slug, which I don't know why that always just tickles me pink. Like this is like the generic Japanese idea of an alien. Hold up. This is another difference, and this is a big difference because the machines never knew that in the game. Very interesting. Or I guess I should say they figured it out, like here, or a little bit past this.
予定時刻に通ったんです。
時間は
What do you mean, Pod?
メインシステムにハッキングを仕掛ける。
Pod's acting on their own.
2B に時間を稼いでほしい。
キングお願い。
了解。小
This is new as well.
92
The color switch.
俺が兄さんを守るから。
More changes. We go farther and farther away from the events of the game, the more changes that stack up. I love this. But was he disconnected from the network? Because in that case, he's not dead. Because if Eve dives here, Eve's not around later to go berserk. And Adam doesn't seem like the type. Stuff's starting to get really weird. Excellent. Yeah, so stuff's really changing now. Not only did they change the order of how they're encountering Adam and Eve, they're changing how we learn about the aliens being dead. They're changing when the machines knew about humanity being dead and when the androids, or at least 9S and 2B, learned this. They're changing which brother died. And I'm not sure how that's going to affect the rest, but I want to see.